traditional land territory of many nations. The municipality operates on the unceded and unsurrendered lands of our Indigenous peoples. We recognize and honor their historic relationship of the Indigenous peoples to this land and acknowledge our shared obligation to respect, honor, and sustain these lands and the natural resources contained within. We recognize First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who call Belleville their home and support the need for cultivating a strong relationship with them. We look forward to fostering a path toward reconciliation and show respect for the Indigenous peoples who first lived and currently live on the land where we now all reside together. For those watching us on city streaming service or your YouTube channel or on your TV broadcast, I would point out that our agenda and all reports on the city website at www.belleville.ca under Agenda, Minutes, and Live Meeting Video on the left-hand side of the screen. If you click on March 13th on the calendar, it will bring you to the agenda for today's meeting. There is a hyperlink on the agenda in the event you wish to look at all the reports. I will now call the meeting to order. We all are present, and we'll have a moment of reflection by City Clerk Matt McDonald.
May we be worthy custodians of all that has been entrusted to us. Help us to be concerned only for what will promote good government. May we bring to our council chamber minds that think and hearts that feel, always having respect for others so that we may serve the people of our city in a helpful manner and for the good of all.
Please be seated. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature of. Seeing none. Public meetings none. I need a motion for reading and confirmation of the minutes. Regular council meeting February 27th, 23, and an camera meeting February 27th, 23. Councillor Brown, Councillor Chatton. Discussion. All in favor? Carried. I'd like to welcome the deputation today, Kat Fisher Andrews of Quinte Immigration Services. Kat, how are you today? Welcome.
Supposed to turn this on. Can everyone hear me? Good afternoon, Your Worship and members of council. I'm honored to be here, and thank you very much for inviting me to talk today and do a deputation. I'm here together with my colleague. My name is Kat Fisher Andrews, for the record, and I work for Quinte Immigration Services, the Quinte Local Immigration Partnership, which is housed at Quinte Immigration Services. I'm here to do a deputation today with my colleague Yulia Lohivnenko, who is going to also, so it's going to be a two-part deputation, so I'll try to get through my section of it within a good time frame. So today I'm here to talk about a workplace inclusion charter, and I'm here to ask council to adopt a workplace inclusion charter for the city of Belleville. I've been working on that with Heather Candler of the Economic Development Department for some months, and we've discussed the workplace inclusion charter and some of the ideas surrounding it, and Heather is very excited about it as well. So I'd like to start today with making sure I can get to the right place. I'd like to start today with what is a workplace inclusion charter. So it's a declaration signed and committed to by Belleville employers and community agencies to create and uphold inclusive workplaces, advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion in the region, and it allows for a first step towards embracing inclusion within workplaces. What are the benefits of a workplace inclusion charter, and why is equity, diversity, and inclusion important? So I'm going to just touch on a few points about that in the interest of time. Diversity is a key element that will contribute to the strength and prosperity of our community. Employers play an important role in facilitating successful inclusion for residents. Equity, diversity, and inclusion has been proven to improve talent acquisition, profitability, opportunities to break into new markets, and improve employees' satisfaction and engagement. So why would we need a workplace inclusion charter in Belleville? The first reason is the growth rate, or the people in our community. So the 2021 census for the city of Belleville indicates that key populations facing systemic barriers in our community have increased relative to the population, and in some cases, significantly. So just to give a couple of examples from the list that I have there, temporary immigrants in our region have increased since 2016 by 242%. And immigration, so immigrants in total in our region, have increased by 52% since 2016. That's 3 times as quickly as the total population in our area. The second reason why we might want to adopt a charter is that immigration will be the factor that populates Canada. So Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada have set targets for permanent residents to come to Canada over the next 3 years. Ending in 2025, they're looking at 500,000 permanent residents coming into Canada by that date, and that number will continue to increase. So in under 20 years, half the Canadian population will be made up of immigrants or their Canadian-born children. And just to sort of look at a local example, locally international students at Loyalist College have been steadily increasing. So there were about 85 international students in 2015, and now there are over 1,200. The third reason would be that systemic discrimination exists in all sectors of all communities Canada-wide. So vulnerable groups are the focus of inclusion strategies nationwide as they continue to experience systemic barriers to employment, high rates of unemployment, and disproportionate representation in low-paying jobs. And the fourth reason is that what do we have in terms of our current local workplace inclusion initiatives? So we do have some examples of equity, diversity, and inclusion initiatives that are popping up, but EDI has not been implemented on a larger scale in workplaces in our community. And I've given some examples there, but in the interest of time, I'll just move to the next one. So what would the role of the Quinte Local Immigration Partnership be in this initiative? As you may know, the Quinte Local Immigration Partnership is a collaborative initiative composed of nonprofit organizations, employers, government, social services, and we're all working together to enhance the region's image as a welcoming community for newcomers. We also support employers in their efforts to attract, hire, and retain newcomers as a strategic members of this workforce. We have the capacity to support and advance the charter through mobilizing our 80+ community partners, and we can provide advocacy and support for workplaces and employees. But finally, more importantly, what is the role of the City of Belleville? So we think that the charter makes a bold statement that Belleville is a welcoming community and an inclusive community. The city can be an innovator, leader, and role model for other Belleville businesses and organizations, and promote and celebrate Belleville's businesses and organizations who sign the charter on the city's inclusion webpage. The city can model the integration of economic, social, and workplace goals to create benefits beyond the workplace and beyond the city of Belleville. And then also can demonstrate leadership and expertise in addressing labor force issues as economic development leaders in the region. I think also that this will further support the goals of the Belleville Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee, which has been very successful. And as a partner of the QLIP, the city has been very pivotal in promoting the Quinte region as a welcoming community for newcomers. But lastly, the city can champion the charter at every opportunity, thereby championing inclusion in our community. So what is our ask? Our ask is to adopt the Workplace Inclusion Charter to show that the City of Belleville's leadership to the business community and the rest of the Quinte region. Thank you for your time. I'm going to pass the baton on to my colleague.
Good afternoon. My name is Yulia Lohvunenko. I work at Quinte Immigration Services, and I'm one of those immigrants, newcomers in the Quinte region, whose population is growing 3 times faster than the local population. At the same time, I'm a representative of the newcomers who came in 2022 after the war started in Ukraine. And it's been 55 weeks already, over the year, but more than the year already, that the war is still on. And Canada is still receiving newcomers from Ukraine, same as Ontario province, same as Quinte region, same as Belleville. So in my previous life, before the war, I was a business analyst, so I like numbers very much. My presentation is very short, but it's full of numbers. and I'll try to explain them to you. So basically the numbers show how we've been living with Ukrainian newcomers here in Belleville over the previous months. As you see, at the moment, more than almost 200 actually, 1,000 Ukrainians already arrived in Canada, and 40% of them arrived in Ontario. So Quinte region, of course, received a small fraction of that number, but in terms of volumes, in general volumes, the population of Ukrainians doubled over the previous 6 months. We as a community were very, very welcoming, and thank you very much to all the agencies and local businesses and all our partners in Quinte Immigration Services who helped us to coordinate all the efforts and assisted Ukrainians with housing and with hosting them and with providing them with basic needs like foods, for example, and different things for their children, as well as English classes and some initial, adaptation to Canadian customs and traditions, because they also need to learn how to live here. It's a different country and different, way of life. And the effort that the communities, local community in Belleville put into that was paid by the retention rate. The retention rate is a universal index which says to us how good we are at retaining newcomers at our region. So our index is 80%, over 80% at the moment, which is twice as good as in Toronto and Greater Toronto area. This is really very good. Our next challenge is about integrating Ukrainian newcomers into economic life, into labor market here in Belleville and in Quinte region in general. As you probably know, there were previous waves of Ukrainians coming into Canada. So during the previous waves, farmers arrived because Canadian government focused on immigration policies to bring agricultural workers and owners, farmers owners as well, into Canada. Now we are experiencing the third wave, which started in March 2022 and still going on and will continue for at least 2 more years. But of course, the influx will be decreasing with time. In wave 3, we see highly qualified professionals. We also see skilled trade workers coming into Belleville, and they are very eager, to get access to labor market. And we know that their professions and their previous experience is well received and also highly in demand here. Ukrainians are very industrious people. They are reliable. And my ask to you is please encourage local businesses to hire Ukrainians, or not only for their entry-level jobs, but also help to transition them into their next profession, or to continue their professional career that they started back in Ukraine or back in other countries where they lived before coming to Canada. Because they are skilled workers and they really will benefit to the labor market of the region. So to add to what Kat said before, Workforce Inclusion Charter will be one of the steps to include Ukrainian newcomers into the workforce, into the labor market, as well as into balancing our diverse population here in Quinte region. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Any questions for the deputation? Councillor Millant?
Thank you, Your Worship, and it's not so much a question, but I'm going to wholeheartedly endorse the adoption of this charter for the City of Belleville. As the grandson of a Polish immigrant who came to Canada on the first wave, my grandmother Zinia Skripka at the time came from a small village in the Carpathian Mountains at the age of 17. She came alone and to Canada in that first wave of immigration. So I know the resolve and the resiliency of the Ukrainian people. Actually, the village where my grandmother's people are from is now part of the Ukraine. As we all know, sometimes those borders of Poland and Ukraine in the Carpathian Mountains area, they move. But thank you so much, and I just am so supportive of not only the inclusion or the adoption of this charter for the city and for businesses in Belleville, but anything and everything we can do as well for our Ukrainian immigrants. I would like to see those numbers double in this area and the support for them as well. Slava Ukraini.
Councilor
Героям
Alsop?
слава.
Yes, thank you, Chair, and likewise with Councilor Millet, I want to voice my support for the Workplace Inclusion Charter, and thank both of you, Kat and Yulia, for coming today. I was just wondering, from your own experience coming to Canada, and particularly the Belleville region, what have been some of the more encouraging things that you found about your new home in the community, and what have been some of the greatest challenges that you faced personally? And then same question for you, Kat, just in a more general sense, what is being reported as some of the more encouraging things about our community, and certainly some of the more challenging aspects of our community?
Okay. Our family arrived in May 2022. And tell us the truth, there was a big change for our life comparing to how we lived in Ukraine before. At the same time, we were very lucky to meet friendly and very supporting people. And tell us the truth, they also were of Ukrainian origin, but from many generations before. Anyway, it looks like, the blood also speaks for itself, so they somehow found us and they hosted us for 7 months until we came to the point when we, were independent enough to rent a separate accommodation and, move with our children to that accommodation. So, and that comes to the biggest challenge that we had. The biggest challenge was about the housing issues that we experience, and I believe I'm not the only one, and it's not only for immigrants and newcomers, it's for everybody here in Belleville to find an affordable housing and to be able to support the family at the same time. That's the challenge that we faced.
Thank you, Yulia. I'll just quickly say that I started with the Quinte Local Immigration Partnership in 2020, and since then I have been absolutely thrilled with the support of the City of Belleville to the Quinte Local Immigration Partnership and the projects that we do, and with the agencies in the community. We have grown by 20 agencies since 2020, and it's just been amazing work that I think the community is doing. And I think that's a lot in thanks to the city. But I also, I think EDI initiatives have actually increased quite a bit in this city, and that's been happening just over the last 2 years. We have many agencies that they have their own EDI councils. And so I think that's been one of the really great benefits. The challenge is that there's a lot of issues on the table. There's a lot of different issues to address when it comes to immigration itself, and when it comes to equity, diversity, and inclusion, because there's a lot of different vulnerable groups that are affected. And so I think the challenge is to work together to ensure that those groups are getting what they need and that they're integrated into our community in the best way possible with the most advantages that they can have.
Councilor Thompson?
Yeah, thank you for coming, both of you. First of all, I want to congratulate you for coming, and I must say, this immigrant from Ukraine, we hired at Lafferty's Menswear part-time, and she was a fabulous employee. And I give credit that these Ukrainian people coming in to our community, the customers loved her. We hated to see her go. We have issues in the city, but when we meet with them and integrate them into our community, we see how valuable they are, really. And I must commend you. You learned the Canadian language so quickly and adapted to the people. So in your estimation, this City of Belleville Workplace Inclusion Charter, would that have been a benefit to you to have that before you came to Belleville? That's because you're presenting it. You've been here for 55 weeks now, you say, and now you're moving on to a full-time job. Would this have been a benefit to you?
Yes, I would say for sure. The practice of workforce inclusion charters is not new, actually. I mean, in general, in the world. And basically, those cities and businesses who adopted this charter saw some increases in their profits. So I mean, it doesn't come in this next year, but definitely can be seen with financials of the company and of the city, as a city budget, for example, in 2 to 3 years' time. So yes, that would benefit in general, and for me personally, yes.
Thank you.
Councilor Chapman?
Thank you, and through you, Chair. So I've got a couple of things. First of all, thank you for your presentation, and I wholeheartedly support this charter as well. But first, does the Inclusion Charter require self-identification, or is there an option to claim a status that will not potentially identify somebody as a particular vulnerable population? That would be my first question.
Well, I think that it would depend on how the charter was formed. I think Heather might have more answers to that in terms of the actual forming of the charter itself. I mean, we didn't necessarily discuss all the ins and outs of how it would work, but the charter will be based, for the employers, it will be based on looking at the 30-50 challenge, or sorry, the 50-30 challenge, which is part of the federal government. So employers can use that 30-50 challenge as a guide to help them understand and use the tools within that challenge to help them move forward with meeting their own needs within their organizations in terms of equity, diversity, and inclusion. So it kind of is a little bit left up to the employers to sort of take this with them and go with it. But I'm also going to ask if maybe Heather can answer some more of that question later when she speaks.
Sure, that's wonderful, thank you. Supplementary to that, again, kind of words are nothing without action, and maybe this is something else that Heather can maybe cover with me, but I was wondering if there was a governance metric to ensure that the data to support the inclusion strategy will be in place as well. Is that something we should talk about later?
Yeah, we have it in your report, don't we? Yeah,
Yes.
we do.
Okay, wonderful.
Yes,
And
thank
just
you.
lastly, I just wanted to say I do believe that our city has a positive obligation to be exactly what you identified, an innovator, a leader, and a role model for EDI. It is how we shape our future here. So again, thank you. I'm very much in support of it.
Councilor Kelly?
Thank you, through you, Mayor. First of all, thank you very much for the presentation. Well done. And just some thoughts on this. Kat Fisher. I've known Kat now for probably 4 or 5 years. And our city and our country are blessed with so many leaders. And last week was International Women's Day, and I look up here on the 4th floor today, and I see so many strong women, and you're one of those. And Kat has been involved with the city's Diwali Festival, Truth and Reconciliation, Caribbean Festival. Anything that's going on, folks, I'm here to tell you, Kat Fisher has had a role in the success of the city of Belleville through her networking. Last week we had a program at Loyola Adult School. Counselor was there, Miller, and 28 different nationalities at that school. Representation from 28 different countries. Why are they at Loyola? English as a second language. For them to become Canadian citizens, they have to get their papers that they can speak English. And who's quarterbacking that is QLIP. Kat's helping them as soon as they arrive. All the newcomers have somebody there with a helping hand. 28 different nationalities. And last week we had 4 guest speakers at International Women's Day from all over the world, Africa, Mexico performers. It was a beautiful festival, celebration. And again, Kat was involved with that. So we know your work with newcomers, building a better community, and I thank you, and I think I speak for all my teammates here at City Hall, because I've had that blessed opportunity to work so closely with you and grow and learn and understand the needs and the different individuals in our community, which make us really unique. It's really a gift. So,
Sean?
you mentioned off the top in your presentation about workplace inclusion charter. And I have some notes here, and I've worked with Heather Candler from our economic department and yourself, and with the workplace charter and the 50-30 with the federal government. And you set it off the top best. What does this workplace charter, inclusion charter mean? It strengthens our community. Those 3 words, strengthens our community. So, Economic Development Committee, the Equity, Diversity, Inclusion Committee, I've worked on this. We're championing this for the city. We've heard from councillors already today backing this. This is an opportunity to send a strong message to newcomers and our own youth that we want you to stay here, live and play and invest in our community. There are tools in our community that businesses can access to support efforts to enhance inclusion in the workplace. And I wanted to get this in too. It builds on the tools provided through the 50-30 challenge with the federal government, and across the country right now there's close to 1,900 communities have signed up, businesses. So we need Belleville to get behind this. It affirms our city code of conduct, interpersonal workplace policies, but challenges us to continue to be better year after year, and that's something we want to do moving forward. So I really hope that businesses sign on with the Workplace Inclusion Charter. Again, thank you so much. And for your family and friends back in Ukraine, we think of them daily. And I know we just went 1 year past, and I've heard stories and had conversations with families that reside in our area, hoping for the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kelly.
Need a motion to receive the deputation by Kat Fishers-Andrews of Quinte Immigration Services on the topic of 2023 stats forecast for immigrants and displaced newcomers, how workplace inclusion charter and can pave a path for greater integration be received. Councillor Enright, Councillor Millet, all in favor? Carried. Correspondence, Committee of the Whole. I need motion that council will rise and go in Committee of the Whole to hear and consider reports, passing of recommendations and resolutions with Councillor Chadden in the chair. Councillor Brown, Councillor Enright Miller, all in favor? Carried.
Okay, here we go. The agenda shall include under reports items that warrant an individual attention from council. Starting with 8A1, authorization for the allocation of a portion of the riverfront parking lot for the 2023 Quinte Trash Bash event, under report 2023-03. The resolution that pursuant to the Environmental Services Environmental Coordinator's Report number ESEC 2023-03, council authorize an allocation of a portion of the riverfront parking lot for the 2023 Quinte Trash Bash event for the Green Task Force Committee. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Millet and Mayor Ellis, thank you. Yep, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. Just a word of explanation on this. As is evident in the report, you'll see that this is the first time that we're setting up on the Riverfront Trail, and the reason is twofold. Out of the Green Task Force, in previous trash bashes, we've set up collection points at various points in the city to see what works best. Traditionally, it's always been and will continue to be at the old Quinte Exhibition and Raceway grounds by the grandstand. But this year, we've decided to establish a drop-off point at downtown at the Riverfront Trail area. We're hoping to engage a few more of our downtown merchants and residents in the effort. As well, we've moved the date up as well on Trash Bash regionally. Last year, we were a little late into the spring, and two reasons, two things. People have gone out on their own and cleaned up. and didn't wait for an official trash bash, which was laudable, certainly. But the other problem is once the undergrowth starts growing up around the trash, it's harder to spot, harder to collect. So approval of this resolution will allow us to set up on the Riverfront Trail, and we look forward to, well, there'll be much more promotion closer to Trash Bash Day, but this is an important step in getting some of our downtown merchants and residents engaged in Trash Bash this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. 8A2, purchase of a new 2023 16-foot wide area rotary riding mower under GMTOS 2023-05. The resolution is that in accordance with section 30.3 sole and single sourcing approval and reporting of the city's purchasing bylaw number 2020-09, quotation from Turf Care Products Canada Limited will be accepted for the supply and delivery of a new 2023 16-foot wide area rotary riding lawnmower in the amount of $164,350 plus $21,365.50 HST for a total of $185,715.50, and that the mayor and city clerk be authorized to sign the acceptance agreement on behalf of the Corporation of the City of Belleville, and that the city clerk be authorized to fix the corporate seal. May I have a mover and a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Alsop, and seconded by Councillor Enright Miller. And discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you. 8A3, purchase of a new 2023 4x4 articulated multi-purpose utility sidewalk machine with attachments. The resolution is that in accordance with section 30.3 sole and single sourcing approval and reporting of the city's purchasing bylaw number 2021-99, the quotation from FST Canada Incorporated, Joe Johnson Equipment, be accepted for the supply and delivery of a 2023 4x4 articulated multi-purpose utility sidewalk machine with front plow and sander attachments in the amount of $194,245 plus $25,251.85 HST for a total of $219,496.85, and that the mayor and city clerk be authorized to sign the acceptance agreement on behalf of the Corporation of the City of Belleville, and that the city clerk be authorized to fix the corporate seal. May I have a mover and a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Carr and Councillor Enright Miller. Any discussion? All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Development Agreement Securities under 8A4. The resolution is that pursuant to the Development Engineers Report number APS 2023-06, Development Agreement Securities, Council approved the use of pay-on-demand subdivision bonds for development agreements. May I have a mover and a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Carr. Thank you, Councillor Enright Miller. And discussion? Thank you, Councillor Carr, and then Councillor Alsop.
Yes, thank you very much, and certainly appreciate this report from staff. And I think it's important to note that the report refers to the fact that staff attended a webinar of the Ontario Home Builders Association and the Surety Association, and they've come up with these ideas of surety bonds or pay-on-demand subdivision bonds, which still gives the municipality the assurances and the coverage as development is occurring, but actually not requiring the transfer of funds, which means is that developers continue to have access to that liquidity in order to continue to build. Here's a prime example again, and where the municipality and particularly municipal staff are taking the initiative to look for ways to drop barriers to allow development to occur, and to be at the front end of this versus suggesting that we're being told, and I'll use it again because we continue to get hammered on it. Even on the weekend, I saw a leader of a federal party refer to us as gatekeepers, and here we have an example where we're knocking down any kind of obstacles for those for that growth to occur. So I laud staff for taking that initiative on their own fruition. Thank you.
Yep, Councillor Alsop, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair, and Councillor Carr did a fantastic job of summarizing all of the benefits, so I think I'll leave it at that, and I'm in favor as well.
And Councillor Enright Miller?
Thank you, Chair.
and Councillor Carr did a great job. And just, I think it's prudent that we note that this is a great initiative. It gives us two forms of financing for developers, and we have an ever-growing housing market, and this will help the developers keep some money in their pocket and continue the growth for us. So I fully recommend. Thank you.
Thank you, and I'll call all in favor. That is carried. Thank you. Moving on to 8A5, City of Belleville Workplace Inclusion Charter. The resolution is that pursuant to the Director of Economic Development Report number DEC-DEV 2023-05, that Council adopt the Workplace Inclusion Charter, being Belleville's first business to adopt the charter. May I have a mover and a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Kelly and Councillor Millette. Any discussion? Yes, Councillor Millette?
Thank you, Your Worship, Your Madam Chair. Not yet. Someday. Madam Chair, through you to the Director. Ms. Candler, I'm looking at the copy of the charter here, or the declaration, and the endorsement is on behalf of blank. We, the undersigned, endorse the vision and principles of the Inclusion Charter. Are we looking for, would the City of Belleville then fill in that blank with this endorsement, or are we looking to promote this to have businesses sign on? Just for a little clarification.
Sure, through you, Chair, to Councillor Millette. We're looking, that would be each individual business's name. So the business themselves would adopt the charter and the vision and principles associated with it.
Okay, great. And as I had said earlier, and I think we all spoke heartily endorsing this, I think it's a fabulous initiative. I'm happy to join the other municipalities listed, and I will endorse the adoption of this. Thank you.
Councillor Kelly?
Thank you. Through you, Chair, I just wanted to encourage all Belleville businesses to get involved in the challenge, and we look forward to you being a partner in the Workplace Inclusion Charter. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councillor Alsop?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I certainly want to voice my support for adopting the Workplace Inclusion Charter. I think it'll be a great thing for our community. We had a wonderful presentation today about some of the benefits associated with adopting the charter. My question to staff would be, based on our organization as the City of Belleville, how far away are we currently from the 50-30 target that has been discussed today?
Through you, Chair, to Councillor Alsop. So you would have to confer with Human Resources, I think, to get an answer to that question, and the acting director is not here today. But I did consult with HR in the development of the charter, and they wholeheartedly supported it. Important to them was that it supports our workplace code of conduct and our interpersonal workplace ethics as well. So I'm sure we're perhaps not there yet. I couldn't speak to that specifically, but this is a goal we're reaching for. So this aligns nicely with the path that we're on.
Thank you. Yes, go ahead, Councillor Thompson.
Yeah, just a quick question. With adopting this here, how will we work with the employers to make them aware of it and the opportunity to sign up for it? And also, Heather, can you sort of just give us a couple of real highlights that you feel that's in this report? So it's a two-part question, if I may.
Sure, through you, Chair, to Councillor Thompson. So we'll be using all of our communication channels. So we have social media communication channels. We do a lot of print marketing and that sort of thing. We have a direct line of communication to our businesses through economic development, and we have our economic development partners that will be promoting this too as well. So we'll be firing on all channels that way. We also will be developing a web page, and communications has begun to work on that will highlight the charter itself and have a fillable form that each business will be able to fill when they've adopted the challenge as well. So it will begin to showcase the businesses and organizations. So this isn't just for businesses, it's also for any employers in the city that have adopted the charter and that are adopting these principles. So it begins to sort of promote itself in that regard. In terms of a couple of high-level points, I think for me, when I look at all of the ways and means we have to be working in the discipline of economic development, we have to begin by talking to our businesses and seeing what's important to our businesses. And prior to this, being with the province, it's certainly not exclusive to Belleville. Labor force is one of our greatest challenges. And so coming to the city of Belleville and starting to talk to all of the stakeholders in our community, nothing is any different here in the city of Belleville. We have a challenge with that, but we have solutions. And this was a solution that was put on the table by one of our partners. And it's about creating an opportunity for businesses to get started walking down the path of inclusion so that they can not only attract a workforce, but retain a workforce. And I think what was important to me in looking at this concept of a workplace inclusion charter was first to make sure that our workplace was ready for this, and working together with HR, we certainly are, but also to develop a charter that was enabling but not prescriptive. So every business is at a different point in this journey of embracing inclusion. So what this does is it really points people towards the tools that they can use to begin this journey. So for some businesses, they may be asking questions at this point. Other businesses may be ready to employ tactics or already employing tactics. So they can pick and choose from a menu of different tools that are available with the 50-30 challenge. That's maintained by the federal government. As I said, as Councillor Kelly was mentioning, it has a momentum of its own. And so this is something that we can embrace that not only promotes diversity, but points people in the direction to take that first step.
Yes, Councillor Enright Miller?
Thank you, through you, Chair. I fully support the charter, and I think it may be a first step to a conduit for the employers who have job vacancies to help facilitate, you know, people that are coming in, the immigrants that are skilled labor, that, you know, I'm hoping that we can even just piggyback on and the charter and keep it going. So full support for it. Thank you.
And Councillor Carr?
Yes, thank you. I didn't speak earlier. I didn't have any questions for the deputation, but and I'm not going to equo the comments that were already made, other than to say that at the end of the day, when we can identify barriers and come up with solutions to remove those barriers so everybody has equal access to work, and at the same time is employers are getting individuals to contribute to their workforce, then that's great. I would make one suggestion though, and perhaps maybe the mover and seconder would look at it as a friendly amendment. Just changing the wording from being Belleville's first business to being Belleville's first organization. I think that's a clear distinction. It needs to be made. The City of Belleville, we're not a business. We are a corporation, but we are a level of government. Government operates a little different, and I don't want government and business, I think, shouldn't have the same definition. So if it was Belleville's first organization, and then that way it would cover us. And then obviously, as we heard from the director as well, it's not just businesses that we hope that would adopt this, but organizations within our community as well. But it would properly identify us as an organization or as a level of government. Thank you.
Councillor Kelly, are you okay with the friendly amendment to change first business to first organization?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Councillor Millette, would you be agreeable to that friendly amendment? Sure. Okay. I would just like to add, in the interest of public record, I would like to suggest a recorded vote on this. Okay, we can, okay, Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
Sorry. That wasn't for me.
It's all right, you can do it. Councillor Millette.
Yes.
Councillor Thompson.
Yes.
Councillor Alsop.
Yes.
Councillor Brown.
Yes.
Councillor Carr.
Yes.
Councillor Chatton.
Yes.
Councillor Enright Miller.
Yes.
Councillor Kelly.
Yes.
Mayor Ellis. Yes. Unanimous.
I'm pleased to announce that unanimously carried. Thank you. And consent items at 8B. Council may adopt consent items by one motion, but prior to consideration of each motion, members may request that specific items be removed from consideration under such motion, and council shall consider such items individually. So I'm going to go around the table and ask Councillor Thompson.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Carr.
No, thank you.
Councillor Enright Miller.
No, thank you.
Councillor Alsop.
No, thank you.
Councillor Brown.
No, thank you.
Mayor Ellis?
No, thank you.
Councillor Millet?
No, thank you.
Councillor Kelly?
No, thank you.
Okay. So the motion on the floor is that the consent items be approved. May I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Alsop, and seconder, Councillor Enright Miller. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Same process here. Council may adopt consent items by one motion, but prior to consideration of such motion, members may request that specific items be removed from consideration under such motion, and council shall consider such items individually. Councillor Thompson, would you like to pull anything?
No, thank you.
Councillor Carr,
Yes, 8C1A, please.
8C1A. Thank you. Councillor Enright Miller,
No, thank you.
Councillor Alsop,
No, thank you.
Councillor Brown,
No, thank you.
Mayor Ellis,
No, thank you.
Councillor Millet,
No, thank you.
Councillor Kelly,
8C2B, please.
and A is Carr. Okay, so with the exception of 8C1A and 8C2B, could I get a motion, a mover and a seconder for the agenda items being received with that exception? And Mayor Ellis, thank you, and Councillor Alsop. All in favor? That is carried, thank you. And 8C1A, Councillor Carr, I'll read it out first, sorry. Building section month-end report, February 2023. Yes, go ahead, thank you. Oh, sorry, mover, that would be Councillor Carr, and seconder, thank you, Councillor Alsop, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, and I'll continue to highlight this, and I so hope at some point we're going to have a very good tracking system on our website in order to follow along after Planning Advisory goes through the process of approving zoning and gets approved here at Council. So this month, 3 residential building permits were issued for new construction. We had 1 last month in January. That is not the pace we need to see in our community. I can say that we have zoned thousands of residential development areas over the past 4-year term, and we continue to do so, and we approved one here today in Potters Creek. 44 units as part of 9B. We were told that planning advisory by the builder that would take approximately 2 years. That is not the pace we want to hear. So, you know, as we continue to knock down the barriers for construction, we need the development and the construction industry now to deliver on the things that we have approved here. And so my hope is that the particularly new residential construction permits will start to increase here in order to meet the over demand that we require in our community. Thank you.
Any questions? All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. 8C2B, under encouraging other municipalities to join in supporting women in politics and promoting gender equality in all areas of society. This is a February 21st, 2023 resolution from the town of Grimsby. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Thank you, mover, Councillor Kelly, and a seconder, Councillor Millet. And did you want to speak to that, Councillor Kelly?
Yes, thank you, through you, Chair. For those watching on our platforms for today's council meeting, we received a letter from the town of Grimsby, Ontario, from their office administration, their community clerk or town clerk. Grimsby's near Hamilton, and they're hoping to get support from across the province. Barriers for Women in Politics is the headline. They're sending a letter to the province, Premier Ford, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, MPPs throughout the province, and the town of Grimsby encourages other municipalities in Ontario and across Canada to join them in supporting women in politics and promoting gender equality in all areas of society. So I'm hoping that the City of Belleville will endorse Grimsby.
Thank you. Any discussion? Councillor Carr?
Yes, thank you, and thank you to my colleague for pulling this. I wasn't going to speak on it, but since it's on the floor, you know, it's good to support these resolutions, but with these resolutions then requires actions. And I know last term there was a lot of hand-wringing over all the things that we should be doing to promote more women and more inclusivity in elected government. But quite frankly, I didn't see anything be produced by the same people who were suggesting that we do everything we could. Now, there was an attempt, I think, to try to do that under the auspice of an appointment. That probably had more politics to do with it than actually dealing with inclusivity. But having said that, we need to then look, if we're going to pass a resolution like this, to make concerted efforts. And while this particular motion here relates to women, I also want to talk about the fact that in the resolution it talks about taking steps to ensure that our political environment is inclusive and welcoming to all individuals. And then it goes on to talk about regardless of gender, race, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, or any other factors. I would suggest, and I'm going to take a shot in the dark here, and if somebody wants to tell me I'm wrong, then I'm okay with that. But one of the barriers, I think, for women, quite frankly, is the time of meetings. And I know I harp on this all the time, but it's a reality. If you want women and other individuals to be involved in elected office in a position such as this, where it's part-time, minimal income, there's going to be the expectation that there's going to be work outside the home. And we live in a day and age now where if you're coupled, it takes two incomes to survive in this economy. And particularly if you're on your own, it requires a lot more to make ends meet. And so to suggest that somebody is going to drop everything and take on a municipal elected office position in any or most municipalities in Ontario that make part-time salaries, if you will, and $34,000 a year that we get paid here would not be sustainable. And I know that there's people in the community that are living on that, and I would argue that that's not sustainable. And so if we're going to support resolutions like this, then we have to take the action that corresponds with it. I'm going to give an example. I'm not a female, but I'm going to give an example. I work full-time. I sit on a joint board. I asked before our first meeting if consideration could be given for a different time of day, considering people work and council jobs in all of our region are part-time, and therefore the expectation is people are going to look elsewhere. I was met with silence. In other words, this was, again, the third rail that you do not touch. And interestingly enough, that board meets Mondays at 9:30. So if you're, and we're going to look at the resolution here, a female of working age who's supporting a family or living on your own, you're going to need another income. A 9:30 meeting is not how it's done. And I'm going to argue with this is the old way of doing business. This is old white men who have breakfast with their wife, go to a 9:30 meeting, and know that lunch is going to be on the table when they come back. Those days are done. And so I'm going to support this wholeheartedly, but I would challenge all of us, and I'm certainly going to continue to talk about time of day because it is a barrier, and I would like us to see concrete action on some of these things to actually remove the barriers. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councillor Kelly?
Thank you, and thanks to Councillor Carr for his comments and how he feels. This is my 5th year. Some have been around the table for 15 or 17 years, and you're right, it's time to talk about this. There's ways that we can encourage. I don't have too many friends, Councillor Carr, in my life that have breakfast with their partner, their spouse, and then go to work and the partner stays home and I think you're alluding to possibly doing laundry and making the meal and cleaning the floors and whatnot. That's not the world I think we live in 2023, and I surely hope it isn't. We talk about ways to encourage, build confidence. It is initiatives like this, the town of Grimsby, that have asked the province. This letter has us talking about it tonight. They're asking other municipalities in Ontario and across the country to take note. This building, maybe some of the roles I have with the different committees, I'm willing to put this challenge on the table, is that we have visits to City Hall and we invite everyone to see what we do. You learn through education. If this hasn't been happening at City Hall, then those around the Horseshoe, what we're handsomely paid, $34,000 a year, it's for us as leaders to lead. So visits to City Hall, educational seminars. And we look around tonight, March 13th, from the previous council. We have 3 women on council. And we had 2 last time that were elected initially. To me, that's progress. Our community is identifying leaders from all genders. So I'm willing to take that challenge, Councillor Carr. You've been around a long time. You know that Councillor Times' meetings have been certainly vocal in your point, and I understand. But we have technology now with us. We can do more. If we want to have different race, religion, opportunities for people to grow and learn, I'm willing to work with that and invite them in, make them feel welcome. We talk about being a welcoming community. Well, let's welcome them. We have an empty gallery here. I'm going to move that. But we have an empty gallery here. Let's do the education piece and work with our community, and that's how we hopefully get them to get involved, is by confidence. Confidence is an amazing, amazing skill to have, or feeling. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Councillor Kelly. Councillor Brown?
So I'd like to actually speak to this, given experience, learned experience, and something that I don't know that everybody appreciates. That promoting, supporting women in politics and promoting gender equality when it comes to elected positions is quite an interesting dichotomy for women entering into this, in that we are subject, and when I say we, I'm talking federally, provincially, municipally. We are subject to much more harassment around decisions that we make. We are subject to much more scrutiny about whether or not we have the experience and knowledge that we can bring to the table. We are often far less likely to be given permission to leave early from jobs, to attend meetings or come to council meetings. And it is something that we have to work twice as hard to get half of the accolades. And again, I speak from learned experience, not just in municipal politics, but in business and in the nonprofit sector. I think it's crucially important that we, as women, support each other in being able to move forward into the political arena. I think we saw that. I think if I look at my female councillors, there was a lot more positive energy between each other in how we could support each other. We need to continue that. But I would challenge my male colleagues around the table that it's not just enough to try and encourage confidence. It is to trust us with some of those decisions, to let us make some of the hard decisions and maybe sometimes fail. But I also think it's equally important that there's no difference when we come to this table. We need to be just as well prepared, and we need to be given just as much of a voice. So I wholeheartedly support this. I am hoping that it will pass unanimously, and on that vein, I'd like to ask for a recorded vote.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. Councillor Thompson, you had your hand up as well.
I may, thank you very much. You know, we've talked about the gender situation and the inclusion in this committee, this council, in the past councils. I've been around here, fortunately, for a number of years. When it comes to times to have meetings, that will always be a debate. Nobody had to juggle their time more than I did in 17 years in retail. And Councillor Alsop can probably vouch for that, because we worked 9 till 9 a lot of days. So when we put our name up forward for council, we know some of those things are not going to be the best for us for timing. And we will discuss this, the time of the meetings again and again and again, as long as Councilor Carr's around, because he keeps bringing this up, and that's great. But when subcommittees are joined, and I think Belleville had probably the largest number of women run for city council in a long time, and that's good. And we had diversity running for council, and you know, I've talked to my brother, he's from Grimsby. He's concerned down there that there isn't enough women on council, but again, he hasn't been happy with council down there for 3 terms. So I'm not sure that makes a big difference. I talked to him about council a lot, but I really truly believe, and I agree with everybody, we need to talk the walk and make the motion that we include women in all aspects of politics and businesses. There's some very successful women in business in this world, and we got a couple or 3 of them right here in our presence, and we got other ones. And then the thing about 2 people working full-time, I can be happy to say I don't have a wife that works full-time, and I don't earn half what you people do as an income. Can we make it work? Yes, we can. It's what we want in life that we demand 2 incomes. Not so much to live. Granted, cost of living is going up, but I would put a lot of the situation, we want it because we want it. Can we work around it? Yes, we can. But women in politics is a must. Women in business is a must. Gender, nationality is all important in our community. And I commend Kelly for bringing this forward. Women, but it's in all aspects that we must be considerate. And Councillor Brown, I agree. We sometimes don't. The public don't take what women say as knowing what they're talking about. But I'll tell you, you look at the number of successful women in our world, and we should be listening more to the women. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And Councillor Enright Miller?
Thank you, Chair. As a woman, I better weigh in here.
Oh.
And I just want to thank everybody for their comments, and I would certainly, support the letter. I also want to thank this council for including the 3 of us as newcomers to the table and to the horseshoe. The gentlemen on the table have been, and every staff member have been very supportive of us, and for that we thank you. I think I can say that on behalf of all of us. And girl power, I mean, it's coming. And I hope we do the city of Belleville proud, the ladies that are here, and I think we will strive to do that. And thank you for all the comments.
And Councillor Millette?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And just an observation on this, and I wasn't going to speak because the resolution speaks for itself. The point I just want to make here is that there are going to be some people who are going to question the reason, or why did we choose to endorse the town of Grimsby's motion to basically underscore what most of us progressively believe to be true. Likewise, we're going to have others who are going to look at the charter decision and the fulsome, great discussion we had earlier on that. There are those out there who derisively call these motions and these discussions virtue signaling. The cynics and the cranks who think that, you know, this kind of stuff is airy-fairy stuff and let's get on with the real business. But the minute we stop talking about these sorts of things is the minute that we put these priorities in the rearview mirror. So, you know, to anyone who might dismiss any of this as just simply virtue signaling or whatever, you know, as I said, derisive term you can come up with to dismiss these concerns, I say, well, fortunately you're few and in the minority, and you know, those beliefs will be relegated to the trash heap of history fairly soon, and you know, we stand behind this. So I think we're going to have a good, strong, unanimous support for this on this table. If you would have asked me as a betting man whether this would be the one that would take up a good bit of our discussion today, I would have said no, but I'm glad we did. Thank you.
Thank you. And just on that note, I just wanted to mention as well, just seeing citizens reflected by their representatives at the leadership table, it's deeply critical to progressive outcomes. And I just have to say, as a woman at this table, I have felt nothing but incredible amounts of support from all of the men and my female colleagues at the table. And not only do we feel supported here, but we're also finding support from our neighboring municipalities. And we have just been talking about meeting up with the women that are at the other municipalities and being able to break bread. So it is interesting how the dynamic is shifting. So I would like to call, oh, sorry, go ahead, Councillor Carr.
Yeah, thank you. It won't take long. I just wanted to clarify, just for my colleagues across the way there, the metaphor regarding the cooking and the cleaning was of days gone by. I wasn't suggesting that it was the case today. And let me be very clear, put it on the record, that with my wife and 2 daughters at home, I have very strong women in my life, and I take their guidance, and I see the fights that they put up in order to become equal in this world, and I'm there behind them, supporting them anyway, and I take their guidance critical, even as I sit in this role, as to what I say and how I think about things too. Their perspective does matter, and I appreciate the fact that our female colleagues have spoke. It's probably better that they did, and we remain silent on it, but I wanted to take the charge on the issue that's deep in my heart, because I know it is a barrier. I've heard it, and again, I think that we're doing good work, but can we do more? I just don't want it to be lost where it's all talk and no action, because that doesn't take down the barriers, and that doesn't make it easier for everybody to be equal. That's all I meant. Thank you.
So with that said, we have a motion on the floor, and we'll go to recorded vote.
Councillor Thompson?
Yep.
Councillor Alsop?
Yes.
Councillor Brown?
Yes.
Councillor Carr?
Yes.
Councillor Chatton?
Wholeheartedly, yes.
Councillor Enright Miller?
Yes.
Councillor Kelly?
Yes.
Councillor Millet?
Yes.
Mayor Ellis?
Yes.
Motion carries.
That is unanimous. Thank you very much. And lastly, 8D, rise and report. Could I get a motion, please? Thank you, Councillor Enright Miller. And seconder, thank you, Councillor Millet. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you, folks.
Bylaws. Following the first and second reading of bylaws, member may debate any bylaw under consideration. Reading of first bylaws, bylaw 2023-37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, and 45. I need a motion. Councillor Chatton, second by Councillor Alsop. All in favor? Carried. Second reading discussion, bylaw 2023, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Moved by Councillor Enright Miller. Councillor Alsop. Discussion. All in favor? Carried. Third and final readings of bylaw 2023, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Moved by Councillor Chatton, seconded by Councillor Kelly. All in favor? Carried. New business. Motions. Notice of motions. Announcements. Councillor Thompson.
Just got a quick one. I'd like to thank Darren Flower and Joe Reed. That last snowstorm caused an awful lot of issues in our city, and Mr. Reed was fortunate to be away for 1 week of it, and I made some phone calls to Mr. Flower, and they were all resolved very quickly, and that's dedication to our staff. So I want to thank Mr. Reed for leaving it in good hands. And you know, it's a difficult situation. The snow was hard and or heavy, not easy to remove. And I'm sure you all had complaints. I had, I think, 4 or 5, all resolved. So Mr. Reed and Mr. Flower, thank you to the staff for the city we have. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Carr, you.
Yes, thank you. I have a proclamation. The City of Belleville would like to proclaim Tuesday, March 21st as World Down Syndrome Day. This day is meant to raise awareness, educate the community, and advocate for the rights, inclusion, and well-being of people with Down syndrome in Belleville and around the world. Down Syndrome International has chosen the theme of With Us, Not For Us, this year to remind the community that people with Down syndrome need to be part of the work being done to help secure them in the same rights and opportunities as everyone else. About 1 in 700 Canadians are born with this genetic disorder, and there's an estimated 45,000 people across Canada with Down syndrome. To show your support, be sure to rock some mismatched socks on the 21st. Thank you.
Councillor Alsop?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I had the pleasure this weekend of taking part in the Sports and RV show at the Quinte Wellness Center. It was an excellent event that's put on by a local family, and just wanted to commend them for the great organization. Commend all the city staff for all the preparations that are required to put on a show of that size, and of course for the economic impact that it brings to the area. I saw every demographic and type of person at the show from all over Ontario, even some that came up from the States, and so it's a wonderful thing for our community, and very grateful to have taken part of it.
Thank you. Councillor Millette?
Thank you, Your Worship, and I was honored to join colleagues, Councillors Brown, Thompson, and yourself last Wednesday in observance of International Women's Day at the combined dinner for the United Nations Association of Canada, Quinte Branch, and Belleville Professional Women's Association. A fabulous event at the Grand Ballroom, celebrating one of our own, Karen Post, formerly Manager of Economic Development, currently for physician recruitment. It was a spectacular evening of inspiring addresses from Michelle Leering, a pioneer of legal aid in this community for community justice, and of course Ms. Post herself gave a very moving dinner, and I commend as well the luncheon that was held earlier in the day and at Loyola, and all around a very good observance of International Women's Day. And again, it just seems to be the theme carrying on into tonight's council meeting. So thank you.
Councillor Kelly?
Thank you. Through you, Mayor, just to continue with Councillor Millette's comments on International Women's Day this year, the theme was Embrace Equity, and I was involved with the International Women's Day at Loyola School of Adult and Continuing Education. Councillor Barb Enright Miller was the spokesperson, represented the city at Loyola last Wednesday at 11:30. Thanks to the Mayor's office for helping us out with finances. We were expecting a small group of about 70 to turn out. The Mayor was very frugal with his budget, but we went up to 150 people came. It was amazing. We had music and storytelling and part of the education, and thanks for the Mayor's office for dipping into his kitty to help us out with our added expense. So I want to give a plug out too to Belleville, Amnesty International Quinte, Grand Quinte, Quinte Grannies for Africa, Quinte Local Immigration Partnerships, QLIP, Loyola School of Adult and Continuing Education, and the folks that we worked with. It was a successful day, and we've had lots of conversations tonight about women, and it's good. So that global event last week, very beneficial. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kelly. Anybody else? Seeing none, I need a resolution that bylaw number 2023-46, a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held on March 13, 2023, be read a first, second, third time, and finally passed this 13th day of March 23. Councillor Chatton, Councillor Brown, all in favor? Carried. And the last one, a motion to adjourn. No hands on that? Councillor Thompson, Councilman Wright Miller, all in favor? Carried. Thank you, everyone.